I became really good friends with Tiesto and Armin van Buuren and all these guys, and I would travel to Europe with them and go to these festivals. And I saw what was going on there, how like it was, traditionally in America, the clubs were, the DJ was in a DJ booth, it was dark, no one really looked at him, it wasn't much of a show, for better or worse, right? Like, and I saw it was about like production and about each artist had to tell their story. So that's where the idea of Echostage came.
Hey guys, welcome back to Rave Culture Cast, your guide to the EDM community, music festivals, and more, hosted by me, Ep246. I just recorded the whole intro without hitting record, so that was fun. But other than that, it's a Friday. I'm in a great fucking mood. It's like 80 degrees in New Jersey, so vibes are high. Just got off an incredible interview with our guest today, Pete Kalamoutsos. I said that with my little Greek accent, who is the visionary behind the world's best venue, Echostage, as well as Project Glow and the upcoming WorldPride Festival. So we have so much to unpack here. It was absolutely incredible picking Pete's brain. So I'm going to introduce him in just a second. But first and foremost, if you're new, what's up? Welcome to Rave Culture Cast. If you guys want to connect with us, you can at Rave Culture Cast on all of the platforms. We have a Facebook group. We have a Discord community. So please, you're welcome to join. Our community is always open. So I would love to have you guys here. But before we get any further, we have to thank some of our partners. So first and foremost, Lunatics, my absolute favorite festival beauty company. They make amazing hair accessories, glitter, all the face gems I wear from them. So I've loved working with them over the years. If you guys want to support a small business, definitely check them out. Stock up for festival season. We've got EDC around the corner, Project Glow, really big festivals. So definitely shop their products and you can save 10% off with code EMMAK. Also want to plug Lunchbox. Guys, now is the perfect time to invest in a hydration pack to make sure you are staying hydrated for festivals. The OG hydration pack is my go-to. I absolutely love it. I've used it since 2019. I have not used any other bags for festivals except for Lunchbox because they are anti-theft. Never had an item stolen from me. So I'll leave my links below. You can use code CAPOTUS on any orders over $99, or if you guys want to just shop some of their smaller packs like the snack pack or the sling pack or the phone satchel, which I use every single day, you can use EMMAK on those and that'll save you $5. So with all that being said, I'll leave all my affiliate links down below if you guys want to use anything. But a couple quick life updates before we dive into this episode with Pete. Guys, I think I might be closing out the season of the podcast with this episode. I don't know. I might pop in here and there, but as you guys know, life has gotten really, really busy and crazy. I'm a mom. I juggle a full-time job. I'm a content creator. I travel to festivals and it is very, very crazy and life has gotten very, very crazy. And I love this community with my whole heart, but is not something I can keep up with. So I'm kind of gonna probably take a little bit of a break here for summer because it's about to get really busy, but I love to do my festival recap episodes so much. And I am gonna be going to Bonnaroo for the first time this year. And I cannot not give you guys a recap of Bonnaroo for the first time. So I will probably post episodes periodically here and there, but I just wanted to give you a warning. This is probably like my wrapping up this season 8. This was such a great conversation. So just a heads up. I have a massive announcement coming probably by the time you guys listen to this, it's going to be next week. Around May 12th, I can announce it. I can't say much. One of the biggest opportunities I've ever had in my entire life, dream thing. I'm so excited about it. I can't believe it's real and happening. I might even just do like a mini-sode just to explain how it came to be. But yeah, there's a lot of movement. There's a lot of forward progress. It's the most exciting time of my life. I genuinely could not be more grateful or more excited. So thank you for the support. Thank you for being here. Thank you for allowing me to do my job and just enjoy it and like truly pursue my passion. It's crazy. So anyways, I'll let you know. Follow me on socials at Ep246. You'll see an announcement about that next week. And then lastly, hopefully I'll see you guys out at a festival. I'm going to be at Governor's Ball and Bonnaroo. Those are my next 2 festivals. Just wrapped up Coachella. So Gov Ball is here in New York City. Beatbox is sponsoring it this year, so I'm going to be going on Friday and Saturday most likely. And then Bonnaroo, I'm going to be going Thursday, Friday, and we have so much in store with Beatbox. So just big life updates for you guys. Just wanted to get that out there. Hopefully I will see you at a festival very, very soon. But let's get to the point of this episode. So today's guest is an absolute visionary in the electronic scene. He has helped grow the electronic dance music scene in DC to be recognized globally, from founding Club Glow, which was, a promoter company that was putting on all kinds of events, scaling that, then starting Echostage in 2012, then Soundcheck in 2015. Echostage has gone on to be recognized as the number one, venue globally for dance music. So he's a key leader in pushing these things forward. He founded the Project Glow Festival in 2022, which I have loved attending, and now is a partner in WorldPride Festival coming up for the 50th anniversary of that. So very, very cool stuff in store. This is a homegrown business. He loves the city. He loves his people. So it's just really, really cool to pick someone's brain at that level who has done so many things and grown such an incredible business. It's crazy. And I think you listening as a fan, especially if you're local, it's really cool to support somebody that is so passionate and so humble. And I think you're going to love Pete's story. So give him a follow. Check out all the things he has going on. I'll link that down below. But with that being said, please join me in welcoming Pete Kalamoutsos to the podcast. Hey guys, welcome back to Rave Culture Cast. Today's guest is a true titan of the electronic music scene. He's not just a promoter, but a visionary, a builder, and the driving force behind one of the most vibrant dance music communities in the country. As the founder of Club Glow and the mastermind behind the legendary Echostage, he's helped put Washington D.C. on the global map for electronic music. Between launching Project Glow in 2022 to now being a key leader behind the first and only WorldPride Festival in D.C. this June, Pete is the definition of passion, persistence, and a love for the music. So please join me in welcoming Pete Kalamoutsos to Rave Culture Cast. How's it going?
Hey, thank you for having me. Thank you. That was nice.
Of course. Yeah, no, I mean, I know we're about to get in a very, very busy season for you. You've got huge events coming up. So thank you for taking the time. Really, really just excited to dive into your history and the events that you have coming up and really, tell fans the story of how all these events and came to be and how you've helped grow the electronic scene in DC. So yeah, we'll dive into all that, but I wanted to give you my history. So I've attended all 3 Project Glows so far. It's been an absolute blast. I feel like it was very needed on the East Coast, being that I'm in New Jersey. So I've had a lot of fun at your events. Had a chance to make it down to Echostage, I think in 2023 for one of the Project Glow pre-party, which was really cool. So yeah, I'm just really excited to tell your story. But if we could kind of kick things off, I would love to go back to your early days and what drew you to dance music scene and culture and what made you want to start building something in the DC area.
Yeah. So basically, I all I know is dance music. That's it. Like I know my whole life, I listened to it. I used to listen to mix shows here on the radio when I was a kid, and I would record them and try to like emulate those sets. Right. So I started basically DJing at 14. I did. I'm old now, so I started DJing at 14. Did parties at 16, like in high school and stuff. That was like, when the rave culture was first starting in America. Clubs at 18. And yeah, just started doing parties. Glow was like, we started Glow in 99 with my old partner, Antonis. And so basically, like, he was a promoter and I was the DJ, and I had my finger on the pulse in terms of music, and I knew what I liked. And there was a legendary party already in the DC market called Buzz. And they were more underground, like drum bassy, but they were the first to book, like in America, I think, like Paul Oakenfold, Carl Cox, Sasha and Digweed, all these guys, right? They were kind of before, Twilo, which was like the next step in terms of legendary venues in America, in New York. So, I, though, was more into like the more like progressive house. So I was the first to book a lot of guys like Tiesto, Armin van Buuren, Ferry Corsten, a lot of the trance guys, right? George Acosta at the time, in America. And the mission of Glow was more to like be more inclusive and like promote the underground to the mainstream crowd, right? So just kind of teach them, about it. And yeah, like I was the DJ in the beginning, and then after like a year, it was like, okay, like we'll bring a guest DJ like once every 2 months, and then it was once a month. and then it was every week, and it was like, and kind of like the business started kind of getting too big, and I had to kind of focus more on like the bookings, and it was making an actual business out of it. But
Right.
yeah, I always loved DJing. That's all I know, and
Mm-hmm.
in DC, like it was known as like a steakhouse town. It was always dead at 6 p.m. No one really lived in DC, right? But it was a very big
Okay.
college market. What happened was 9/11, and basically in DC, like all the big the government contractors popped up, BAE Systems, Northrop Grumman, all these companies, right? And they started hiring all these kids that were going to school here. They stayed here, so you had this
Mm-hmm.
big wave of like young people here, right? They started coming to DC, and like eventually, like Barack Obama became president, and like DC was
Mm-hmm.
cool. You had cool restaurants coming here. You started having the culture, like a lot. It wasn't really like outsiders were coming to DC. It was like a lot of famous chefs and curators and promoters. They were here and they were growing something, homegrown, like what we are, right?
Mm-hmm.
So like I'm born and raised here. I went to University of Maryland. Uh, I love the area.
Awesome.
I love it here, and I think we've definitely grown something. And it evolved, right? So like Glow was always like a promoter. We were just at different venues, right? We bopped around, and then we knew, like I became really good friends with Tiesto and Armin van Buuren and all these guys, and I would travel to Europe with them and go to these festivals, and I saw what was going on there. How like it was, traditionally in America, the clubs were the DJ was in a DJ booth. It was dark. No one
Mm-hmm.
really looked at him. It wasn't much of a show, for better or worse, right? Like, and I saw it was about like production and about each
Mm-hmm.
artist had to tell their story. So that's where the idea of Echostage came. We did a big concert here at the DC Armory. We did the first time we did it was like in 2006. Was with Tiesto, and that was the first time really. That was his biggest show at the time in America. That you
Wow.
saw the full production with like LED wall, stage production, like that rock element was being brought to the DJ world, and he could tell his story and give you the Tiesto experience when you walked in the room. Right? It wasn't just about like a
Mm-hmm.
set or whatever, like him playing his music. It was about like him showing you. So like that basically took his rider, and we said, okay, we're going to build a
Mm-hmm.
venue like what he has. We're going to put in there. We rented stuff in the beginning. So 2012, we opened Echostage, and yeah, like we started bringing these artists in, and it was different animal because back in the day, I mean, originally it was we were a club, right? You would go out, you walked up, you pay to get in.
Mm-hmm.
Where Echo was more of a destination. It was like kind of like in a warehouse area in DC, so people had
Right.
to teach people to buy tickets ahead of time, just like a rock show,
Mm-hmm.
right? So it became more of a hard ticket kind of hybrid. But we had table service as well, right? So we brought that kind of hospitality aspect with the hard ticket, right? And we weren't like a rock venue, rock layout, like traditional room. This room was built for
Mm-hmm.
Glow, built for DJs, right? But it could also do live events at Echo. We had us, Lord, Sam Smith, Ellie Goulding, all these acts, right? Like coming in. So it was definitely like a room. Again, it's different from the typical live room. So that's what I'm really
Mm-hmm.
proud of. And like I said, DC, the culture here is unique. Um, you know, I love looking over the dance floor, and I always say, like, you look at the crowd, it's black, white, rich, poor, gay, straight,
Mm-hmm.
Republican, Democrat, doesn't matter. And everyone's just, they walk through those walls and they're just like, okay, I could like leave all the bullshit I have to deal with every day, 9 to 5, on my
Mm-hmm.
crazy ass contracting job or working for the government or whatever.
Yeah.
And I can just go in and just like be a weekend warrior. So,
Mm-hmm.
uh, as we evolved, I knew that we had to do festivals, right? To like grow the artist. We built Soundcheck in 2015, Echo 2012, Soundcheck 2015. Soundcheck is a 500 cap venue. And like I like to think of myself as like a one-stop shop in DC. So like if you are an artist, you're up and coming. For example, Rez opened for Skrillex at Soundcheck.
Wow.
So
Yeah.
then you grow the artist. Then Rez goes to Echo Stage where she could be a special guest or opener or co-headliner or a headliner.
Yeah.
And that's how you grow the artist. And then you have the festivals to really give them their big play, right? And it's kind of like our Glow ecosystem of how booking shows.
Mm-hmm.
So again, I really think we grow the artist, right? Like relationships are great and
Mm-hmm.
everything, but then like the artist has to grow. So we partnered with Steve's promo on Moonrise in the beginning, and that was more of a base. festival, right? It was
Mm-hmm.
Moonrise before that was called Starscape. That was around for years, and then it became Moonrise in Baltimore. And then we brought like our talent, our lineups. So we kind of curated the bookings with them as well, and brought more of like the
Right.
glow sound, right? Like a Tiesto, and we brought in like chain smokers, and all these guys. So uh, and then, but I always wanted to have, my dream was always to have a festival in my hometown of DC. And I think,
Mm-hmm.
for me, DC's DC. You need to have something here. But, people don't know
Mm-hmm.
DC's small, right? It's only 700,000 people. So it's a very small area. So it's hard to find spaces. So, like, we went to the old Redskins Stadium, RFK, and we
Mm-hmm.
started doing events there. Oh, I skipped the part. In 2018, I kind of like realized like I was personally at a crossroads of like growing the company and having a strategic partnership, right? And
Mm-hmm.
uh, I talked to a lot of people, but like all roads led to Insomniac. Like me and Pasquale met, and we knew each other. Didn't really, we knew of each other, didn't really know each other, and
Right.
but we're definitely cut from the same cloth, right? Like he's from more of a rave culture, and I'm more from a club culture, right? It's just
Sure.
different.
Yeah. Yeah.
Those are different, but but like we both know DJs. We're pretty authentic and genuine. Like we're not like you know, oh, it's a fad, let's jump on it. Like we know what we know,
Mm-hmm.
and we are, we're growing it. And I met him, and it was like he was my boy. It was great. We hit it off. We spoke the
Mm-hmm.
same language, and in 2019, actually, we did a partnership. It was pretty much signed in September 2019, but it was in DC with like all the liquor license transfers. The venue, just like the legal stuff of getting transferring licenses and lease assignments. It didn't
Right.
close till February 26, 2020, which was right before COVID. So
I
like,
remember this. Yeah.
yeah, so it's definitely lucky. So we were going to announce it that 2020 in Miami. That was the plan at Ultra Week.
Oh.
We were going to
Yep.
announce the partnership, and and but then obviously
Other
COVID hit.
plans happened.
Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
so we were blessed. We were able to get through it, and uh, you know, we ended up announcing October of 2020 that year. So we kind of waited to see when there was light at the end of the tunnel. We knew vaccines were coming, and there was talk of
Mm-hmm.
reopening. So we felt like it was proper, the right time to announce it. And
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I mean, we're just growing a lot right now.
Right. No, I mean, you touched on guys. That's a wrap on the podcast. Honestly, you just recapped that perfectly. You just did my whole job for me. That was great. No, I mean, you can just tell how passionate about this you are, and like the weekend warriors is such a great terminology for it. But it is that's what raving is all about, like having these places to escape and connect with these communities. Um, but I'm just thinking in my head, like how proud you must feel to be able to like look back at this huge journey and watch the nightlife scene change, watch the crowds and the audiences change a little bit, be able to like scale the artist, scale the production, land a number one venue in the world. Like it's just so many like accolades that have come, and now to be able to have, we'll get into festivals as well. But I mean, for you being so tapped into, homegrown DC, what have you noticed the most about the change in the crowd? Like, do you still feel like there's a lot of similarities of how it was when you started, or is it like a completely different audience that you're speaking to now?
It was definitely more. I mean, at the end of the day, like and when I was coming up, you would never see a DJ on the cover of Billboard, Rolling Stone, let alone listen to
Mm-hmm.
dance music on the radio. Never happened.
Right.
You know, David Guetta kind of started that right in like 2006. Like he really started
Mm-hmm.
the whole getting EDM mainstream. Like Tiesto would always joke to me like he never had a hit until The Business came out, right? Like he had big
Right.
songs, right? Like Tiesto, the legend, but he never had a radio hit, right? So I think a lot
Mm-hmm.
of guys, Avicii, all these guys, like kind of like paved the way for the more radio. I mean, the difference is back then was more grassroots. Like I would Emma's my friend. Hey, let's go see this guy play at this club. You didn't
Mm-hmm.
know who it was. Come with me. Trust me. You come with me, you'd fall in love. Then Emma would bring her friend, and it was more grassroots. That's how it was. More word by mouth, right? Um,
Mm-hmm.
where today it's normal to hear. Kids today are raised like on dance music. They go to school, right? I could
Mm-hmm.
if I had a nickel for every kid that told me I went to University of Maryland or I went to school in the area because of Glow and Echostage, like maybe I'd be
That's
rich, right?
awesome. Yeah.
It's like so it's
Love that.
cool. So yeah, so it's definitely. I know the impact that we've had, and I say very humbly, like I can look in the mirror. I know we've had an impact on the culture here, and we've
100%.
definitely grown it. And I think we're a big reason why, like on the East Coast, um, dance music's pretty thriving.
Definitely. And I mean, the Insomniac partnership, yeah, I remember when that was announced, just given the timing of it, we were at home, we didn't have shows and festivals happening. And like that, like you said, that had been in the works for a while and you just kind of had to wait to announce that partnership. But it sounds like there was a lot of alignment in values and mission between the two of you, which is awesome to hear. So, I'm sure there's obvious ways in which that changed the business, but how did that partnership affect the growth, especially in 2021 when things like started opening up again?
Yeah, I mean, it's cool. Like I said, this it's just you grow as a business, and for me personally, like at the end of the day, what I love about it is Insomniac's very entrepreneurial with our partners, right? From the Space
Mm-hmm.
Guys to Rolling Loud to Chicago at Radius, and uh, they are the best partners in that. Like they're there to support, but they partner with you for a reason. They want you to grow and do your thing. So with me, they
Mm-hmm.
pretty much they're like, hey, do your thing. We're here to support it, right? So like legal, accounting, HR, like all that stuff, right? Like you could,
Mm-hmm.
they kind of handle. It's off my plate, so I could let me focus and my team focus on growing the business, right? And I have to be on
Mm-hmm.
calls for like ADP payroll system and whatever. Like it's
Right.
just it's great, right? Like it's also good to know that like things are done the right way. And
Mm-hmm.
you're a real business, and it's cool within Insomniac, especially. Again, we were a partner at Moonrise. We're more a partner on bookings and marketing. Now we are literally producing, nuts and bolts of it, and
Mm-hmm.
we're the executive producers of everything. So like, I'm glad you said you came every year. Like, I hope you noticed every
Mm-hmm.
year was different. We learn every year, and
Yep.
every year it's growing. And I mean, this year, I think we're gonna sell out, like sell out, sell out.
Love
We're
that.
we're, we're, we're maximizing the site as much as we can, and yeah, I think we're gonna hit that 40,000 a day mark. It's
Yeah.
good to know. Yeah, it's for the East Coast, it needs it, right? Like there's a big gap in it, and like I
100%.
said, I think it's authentic because like we have the roots, the club culture here, and then we have the festival to support it. So to me, like I said, that's a
Mm-hmm.
perfect marriage, and yeah, I think it's yeah.
Just
Within
to speak to
Insomniac,
that
to answer your question, is like they're great at
mm-hmm.
producing events. Like their team
Right.
is the best in the business. What they do at
Mm-hmm.
EDC Vegas, over 200,000 people per day. It's like I think $1 billion economic impact for the city of Las Vegas. Like
It's
these are real
crazy. Yeah.
numbers, and it's amazing how they've And that's something I learned every year. You have to earn to work with earn the trust of local municipalities, but like the way they partner with the city of Las Vegas and they've embraced them and they work together, like they close army bases to like run shuttle services in there. I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
they care so much. Pasquale, it starts there. He cares much about the headliner's experience, getting in and out quickly, and it's just
Mm-hmm.
they've got it down to science, and we're learning here, right? We want to be as independent as possible here, and grow it. So like at the end of the day, like okay, the Glow guys got it. We don't have to worry about it, right? And we're getting that every year, get it better and better, learning, and definitely been mistakes, but like definitely learning
Mm-hmm.
every year, and yeah, pretty proud of the growth of the festival division that we have.
For sure. Yeah, no, I mean, just to speak to that too, because it is so needed at that time. I mean, I feel this way just being in New Jersey. I'll fly, I'll travel to lots of festivals, but having when that was announced, it was like, oh my God, yes. Like finally we needed a festival, another festival on the East Coast, and it's like a 3 hour drive. So it just was such perfect timing. And I've even felt like I've changed. In 2023, I was pregnant. So I went to Project Glow pregnant. That was my first festival, which was amazing. And like so I've gone through life changes, and it has definitely been really cool to see it grow. And one of my favorite things about the Project Glow audience, which I always say, is it's so positive. I've never had an issue in the crowd there. People are so friendly there. I just had never had a complaint about the interactions in the crowd, and that seems to be a very special part of the culture in
Very different
DC.
in DC. Yeah, it's very different, and not
Mm-hmm.
that I've always traveled with artists around the world, and I always
Mm-hmm.
appreciate more and more what we have here. I think our
Right.
very unique culture. Like I said, it's everyone here is uh, it's a very diverse crowd. It's
Mm-hmm.
cultured, it's educated, it's diverse. Like we have it all here. It's a great melting pot. Like I
Right.
said, we truly have everybody, and that's what very different, and they'll tell you that. People that go to come to other festivals like, wow, this is way different. So now
Mm-hmm.
we're
It's so
growing
much
the
fun.
actual production of it, you know. So
Right, right. I mean, and going back a little bit even to Echo Stage and growing that as well. Like you mentioned hurdles and challenges. Like you painted a quick picture, but we know there's so many stories and things that have happened and logistics you've had to deal with. So, can you speak to some of the challenges or some of the roadblocks you hit maybe when you were growing Echo Stage before it
yeah,
became what it is now?
I mean, the first night we opened, we didn't have our liquor license, so we
No,
couldn't
no.
survive. It's just crazy because like what's really hard about these venues is like you and with every at festival whatever, like you have a deadline, you have a show date, and like
Mm-hmm.
you do everything you can, but like certain things like your licenses and permits you don't get until like at festival you have to apply for building permits and stuff, right? Well, you have like you don't
Mm-hmm.
build out the site for like a week, so it's not ready until like the day before the doors, right? Technically, right? So you have to
Right.
have make sure you can get a government official to come out there and on a Friday and look at it, and just like it's hard, working with.
Mm-hmm.
But they've gotten a lot better. But the first year we didn't have our license because you have to apply like the week of, and just it was a Friday
That
and we
stresses
didn't
me
get
out.
so we couldn't sell alcohol, so we didn't do it till the second week. It was
Oh,
Sunday James, Ryan Marciano, and Senator Van Dorn. It was the first night ever. It was
wow.
September 22nd, 2012, and yeah, that
Mm-hmm.
was definitely a big one. Um, I mean, coming out of COVID, we ordered. We wanted to invest into the actual venue of Echo Stage. We bought all new air conditioning. I was like, we're gonna buy AC. So we bought it in like March of 2021. We're like, okay, cool, we get
Okay.
delivered in April or whatever. And delay, chip
Oh,
shortage,
geez.
delay. And we didn't get it until like we opened June of 2021. We didn't get it till like end of July. We had AC,
Oh,
but just
geez.
it was enough. And you understand during COVID, like a lot of refrigerators and air conditioning units died because they weren't being used.
Mm-hmm.
So they had to replace these coils. I don't know. I'm not like a
Jeez.
AC HVAC
Yeah.
expert, but I learned these things the hard way. So yeah,
Mm-hmm.
so little things like that. But like with the shows, honestly, like we just improve every year, add more production, change it. But what I really love about Echo from day one on our design, we have these tunnels, right? We have separate men's, women's bathrooms. It keeps it
Mm-hmm.
sort of pretty smooth. We have the biggest bathrooms, I think, bigger than like most
Mm-hmm.
stadiums. So like,
Yeah.
my experience is like, outside, again, when we opened Echo, it was very different in DC from a typical nightclub. Typical nightclubs, you wait
Mm-hmm.
in line, the clubs hold the line, play all these games. This is like an arena. You have your ticket, you show it, you get in, doesn't matter what you're wearing. So
Mm-hmm.
when we built it, the experience I wanted to have was, don't wait in line, get them in as quick as possible, have bathrooms, have big bars, have tables with room. That way, like everyone's there, has a good experience. And,
Mm-hmm.
I think we definitely got that with Echo. Totally unique. Nothing like Echo
Beautiful.
Stage. Yeah.
Right. No, I was so excited to finally see it because I had heard about it for years and years and years. And I follow the account and, I always see the artists posted and the talent's incredible. And I'm like, am I going to drive 3 hours down there to go? And then
Yeah.
finally going for it was the Slander
Awesome
pre-party
show.
for
Yeah.
Project Glow. Yeah. And I just remember walking in and being like, I get it. Like it just was, it was an immediate, like, okay, I completely understand this definitely lived up to the hype of what I thought this was going to be. And it's the production blew me away. It was so much bigger than I thought it was going to be in person. So it really was a special experience. And even speaking to friends who have lived in DC, it's like they're going go to multiple shows a week sometimes, like they're hooked and they love it. They have everything that they need there. So it's really cool. So when you hear you get, the number one voted the number one venue globally, like how do you receive that? How does that feel? Does that up the pressure for you in any way?
Yeah. No, I mean, it definitely, it's an amazing feeling, right? Like, and especially at the time was like, you know, all I've known is doing mass gatherings and events my whole life. I'd never done anything else in my life.
Mm-hmm.
So like, I was like freaking out, like, all right, are we gonna open again? What's going on? It was such a crazy time, right?
Yeah.
COVID. And so it was definitely good to hear. But like I said, we knew there was a light at the end of the tunnel. And, DC had the harshest lockdowns, I think that in New York. So it was pretty
Mm-hmm.
crazy here. But yeah, I just went from 0 to 100. And then it was like 2025. It's like I felt like we just reopened.
Right.
It's
Yep.
insane. So
Time is flying. It's actually crazy. Well, do you have I mean, that was one of my favorite memories. I know you've done countless shows, but when you think about that and you think of the history of the shows, like, is there a particular show or really special memory that's like that cements in my mind, like fully earned that number one spot? It's just a special, special show we had.
Yeah, I just like how we could incorporate like sports and music, right? Like, the Nationals won the World Series. They came and celebrated at Echo Stage when
Mm-hmm.
Tiesto on stage with him was pretty cool. Like all these
That's
guys,
awesome.
get to hang with them. Like Alex Ovechkin, greatest, goal scorer ever. He had his birthday. He gives his wife his phone and wallet. He's like, I'm going in the crowd. He goes in the crowd,
Right.
taps with everybody, works his way up to the barricade, climbs over, goes on stage, and picks up one of the Lost Kings guys like a rag doll, and like it was amazing. So like it's just like it's we've
That's
had
so
so many
cool.
artists like it's been their first show. Like John Summit, it was like one of his biggest shows when he played, right? And he was so nervous
Mm-hmm.
before the show. Like a lot of guys, for them, Echo's like the mecca, and I definitely realize that, and I appreciate
Mm-hmm.
it. A lot of these artists coming up, like their dreams to play at the stage. I know that, right? They want to play for Glow.
Right, right.
I think we definitely built something special, and trust me, we're
Mm-hmm.
not showing. We have a lot of stuff in the works as well.
Very
So
exciting.
yeah. We
More to
a
come.
lot of stuff coming up. Yeah.
Oh. How do you balance the support of the local artists? Because I know I've met a bunch of artists in DC. Babyweight is one of my favorites. Who you also have stages at Project Glow. You have the Secret Garden, who's supporting a lot of local artists. I know, like for opening slots, you do as well. But how do you find that balance of like also discovering the new local talent
Yeah.
too?
Well, so for us, the beauty of a lot of places, like there's just a festival, right? And your festival's based on your success is based on profit or loss, right? So like you do
Mm-hmm.
festival, you're like, all right, we made money or lost money, that's it. For us, it's like I said, it's part of our ecosystem. So all the artists that play the festival are pretty much we know with soundcheck and echo stage. One, we know like if they can quote unquote sell the tickets, but also it's like we're human, right? I want to reward all the people that are like loyal and play and that earn that
Mm-hmm.
slot, right? Like every artist that's on that lineup, they play for us, and like we see the fans want them. We see their feedback on them. So it's definitely an educated guess, right? But
Mm-hmm.
it's good to see. Like for example, the first year Project Glow, John Summit had like the 5 o'clock slot, right? Like that's those artists playing that festival that first year, they all blew up. This year,
Mm-hmm.
like he's big, but like now I think we booked it at the time. We're like, he's gonna blow up. And the history of DC, we are a dance music town. Like I said, Glow in '99. Before that was Buzz. Deep Dish is from here, right? Legendary Grammy Award winning artist Dumpfire and Sharam. BT. A lot of people don't know Thievery Corporation, right? They're like the best, like the chill house sound. They started first. So we definitely know, and all these artists locally that they play our venues every week. So like it's pretty easy, and that's why
Mm-hmm.
we also have the third stage, the Secret Garden, right? Like
Love
that's
that
where we put
stage.
these artists as
Mm-hmm.
well. It's like, and it's not just like this year you'll see when you come, like we really invested in stage three. All the stages this year are bigger and better. Tiesto's
Mm-hmm.
playing not the main stage, he's playing the stage, 1B, right?
Right,
The house,
right.
the production. One is more scenic and one's going to be more production, right? So
Mm-hmm.
he's playing the scenic stage. That stage is sick. Like when people see it,
Mm-hmm.
it's going to be something. Like I said, every year we try and grow it, and we learn our lessons, right? Like personally, I
Mm-hmm.
didn't like the layout last year. We're gonna try something different where all the stages were aligned. I hated it. So now going back to year two layout. It's just every year
Big
you
fan of
learn.
that. I'm a
Yeah, you
fan.
learn on the
Yeah.
you learn you learn yeah, so we take everything people say and we learn, right? So especially
Mm-hmm.
with curating a lineup, right? So I think yeah, you'll see it this year, hopefully, and
Mm-hmm.
hard work.
People are very excited about it. Yeah, and you spoke a little bit before we move on to World Pride because I definitely want to get into that as well. Anything else about Project Glow? Because it's really cool to hear that your goal was always a festival. That's something that you really really wanted to do, and now going into year four, like you said, you're just constantly leveling it up. Secret Garden's amazing festival. Like I work for Beatbox Beverages full time. We've been a sponsor the last few years, so that's been really fun to see. Any other final thoughts on Project Glow before we chat about World Pride?
Uh, I mean. it's going to be uh, again, like I said, it's gonna, I think that we're gonna crush whatever the last couple of years have done. It's
Mm-hmm.
selling really well, and really proud of where it's come, and just the whole team. Right, everyone's mood is up. Right, like it's such hard work all year. Hopefully people will see all the work we put into it. Like we literally start the
Mm-hmm.
day after the festival. What do we like? What do we hate? What are we doing for next year?
Mm-hmm.
Securing talent, um, artwork, like everything. Like it's all this stuff is a year in the making. Talking to the city, like certain road closures, they work, did not work, metro, like all this stuff. These are all things that we put, thousands of hours into leading up to it.
Mm-hmm.
And like I said, I'm really proud that I think this festival could be, the best on the East Coast. It's
For sure. And new dates this year too. I forgot to mention that
yeah,
as
the
well.
dates are way better. Yeah,
Change the
so like
dates.
yeah, so in DC, they have this thing the last weekend of April. Well, first off, the weather was the biggest factor. Originally, when I
Mm-hmm.
picked the date, I was like, schools are still in. But then we realized, like, I think more kids were coming out when school's over.
Mm-hmm.
So, and it's better dates. It would every year was like Friday rain and 45 degrees and Sunday 80, and sunny.
Right.
So it's
Yeah,
like
yeah,
the
yeah.
last couple of years we looked at the weather and we figured, the weekend after Memorial Day weekend is a great weekend. And again, there's a
Mm-hmm.
science dates and everything, and we figured that was the one. And also, the last weekend of the whole Project Glow dates was the same as White House Correspondents Weekend, which is it's like the nerd
Oh
prom
wow. Right.
of everybody. A lot of our target market, these kids are like staffers on the Hill. They work in the government or
Yeah.
contractors. They go to these events, So everyone's so happy that we don't have it the same weekend. Everybody. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah. So I think these dates are great, and it's evident by the sales. So
Very cool. See, that's something I learned something new. I did not realize that at all, but it's so true because, and I'm sure it's majority local, but I know a bunch of people, like we have a whole crew that is driving down
yeah,
from like New York City, New Jersey, like whole
yeah,
tri-state area. But one thing, again, we touched on the crowd a little is I had always noticed how big the LGBTQ plus community was at Glow. Like that is very evident. I love that it's celebrated. It's very inclusive. So to see now the involvement in the World Pride Festival, which is happening I believe the weekend after, correct? In early June
correct,
at
yeah,
RFK. Yeah. Yeah. So first and only time in history, largest LGBTQ plus celebration for the 50th anniversary of Capitol Pride. Insane lineup with like Jennifer Lopez, Troye Sivan, Purple Disco Machine, like RuPaul. Talk to me about this. Like, how did this happen? And I mean, it's again, it seems like it's the perfect alignment for you guys.
yeah. So basically, good friends with. I mean, for me to say he's the biggest LGBTQ plus promoter in the country will be an understatement. Chick
Mm-hmm.
Rest the Cow owns Dreamland. He's a great promoter. He
Mm-hmm.
does a lot of events around the country. Pride Central Park. Like he does a lot of stuff. He went to school here, and he was kind of like,
Oh,
"Hey, my
nice.
dreams work with you. Let's went to college here." He's like, "Let's do something." So from year one, Project Low, he was in our ear. Let's do something. World Pride's coming, and it just made
Mm.
sense. So and honestly, like for it to be authentic, like he has to be the message for it. I wanted him to like really have his hands in, and he did, in curating the lineup. I mean, he
Mm-hmm.
booked it all. Like we obviously we helped, but like
Mm-hmm.
everything. Like he had relationships with the J Lo, Troye Sivan, RuPaul, Paris Hilton, Tinashe,
Mm-hmm.
Zed, Disco, Sophie Tucker, like so many acts. So the messaging has to come from him, right? Like he knows his community better than we do. And I'm just blessed to like be able to like produce the event for him, right, with him, right.
Mm-hmm.
He's a great partner, and hopefully, I think so. We're doing a lot more stuff with him, but
Very
yeah, great
cool.
guy, great producer. He's really got his finger on the pulse in this community, and yeah, really, really excited about the opportunity to give. It's the 50th year anniversary for Capitol Pride, so give the city
Mm-hmm.
like a really good epic
It's gonna be so fun.
show. Yeah, it's gonna be, and the
Mm-hmm.
after parties for both weekends are great, right?
Oh wow. I missed
So
that.
yeah,
Who are the after parties? That's gonna be amazing.
so we have like for Pride weekend we have Zed, Purple
Mm-hmm.
Disco, Sophie Tucker,
Love them.
another one, and then for like Project Low, it's weekends we have
Is that announced?
Tiesto Fugel, Slander, oh
Mm-hmm.
no, Electronics. So we
Okay,
have
cool.
Yeah, my brain's scrambled right now. And
No,
that we
you're
also
good. I'll make sure you didn't spoil
yeah,
anything.
yeah, we're also helping produce Van's Warped Tour, which is the third week. So we have 3 festivals in a row, right?
Yes, yes,
Like
yeah.
almost 250,000 tickets in 3 weeks. So it's really
That's
proud of what
insane.
really proud of the market that we could show people that we could do that, because people think of DC as like a B market, and it's not. It's a major market. Between like
What a
what we do in
variety.
the electronic world, and you have like the 930 Club, Anthem guys, who's legendary
Mm-hmm.
rock promoters in America, independent. Like, I'm really proud of and yes, and I'm partners with Insomniac and Live Nation, or whatever. But like, we are independent. We think of ourselves like still
Mm-hmm.
mom and pop, right? We're not.
Right.
We just make all decisions still. We still book everything in
Mm-hmm.
house, everything on our own. So, like I said, really proud of the city, and what we're showing the world.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I'm so glad to tell this story because it's cool. This is why I love doing this. It's really cool for fans to hear exactly from the people who are producing the events they love and get the backstory. And I think that just connects them so much more to become like they're already loyal fans, but even more because I feel like when I know somebody's story, I just can connect with them on such a deeper level. So it's just so cool to hear how this has grown and very excited. World Pride sounds amazing. It's cool. I think even having the weekends back to back, like people are going to see the turnover of the festival experiences and be able to do. I'm sure there are people going to do Glow into Pride into Warped Tour. I would not be
Yeah,
surprised at
all
all.
different.
Yeah.
Yeah, the good thing is, it's good for everybody. Like, we can share fencing, porta
Mm-hmm.
potties, but like
Right.
it'll be different,
Mm-hmm.
so
Different demographic, different crowd. That's so cool. Yeah, it's
different
very
crowd,
exciting
but
to have
also
Warped Tour
different art
back.
pieces, different designs, like so yeah, you'll definitely see the difference.
Amazing. Yeah, and before I let you go here, you kind of touched on it a little bit, but I'm gonna make you talk about yourself a little bit more. When you look back on everything you and your team have built, you've mentioned a couple milestones, but what are you most proud of on like a personal level?
Like I said, I'm proud. I look in the mirror and say, hey, I contributed something to this market, the scene, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Again, like, I live it. I go out. I'm not
Mm-hmm.
at a desk. Like, I'm in it. I live it. You
Mm-hmm.
can find me at a show. I'm not hiding. Like, I'm there every show. I'm
Mm-hmm.
there for the most part, and I'm just really proud of like the relationships I've had with these artists, and become friends with them, and so many like customers have become friends, and to see people come every week.
Mm-hmm.
I love it, and like I said, we've done a positive thing for the area. I'm definitely proud of it, and
Mm-hmm.
like I said, honestly, like, I feel like we're just scratching the surface. We have a lot of cool
Right.
things that we're doing, and nothing that's like not authentic, right? Like, we're still Raven
Right.
Heart, and like we're doing some cool things to grow
Love
it.
that.
We'll announce in the next couple of weeks or months.
Mm-hmm. You should definitely be proud. I mean, what you've given back to the community again, it's so cool to have Glow and have this festival to look forward to every year and build this for the community. And like what you're bringing with Echostage is incredible. And I know the fans are very, very thankful for it. And when we're going to get some sets out of you, I saw you did some playlists, I think, that I was checking
Yeah,
out
yeah.
on Spotify, but I'll
I
have
want
to
to.
link those in the
I want
description.
to take any DJ's jobs away by starting to take them. But I could though.
Maybe a secret.
But
We'll get a secret set or something. That would be
yeah,
awesome. I love it. Yeah. No. And okay. So last up, plug where people can find you, connect with you. I know I'll leave all the information if people want to grab tickets to any of the shows and festivals coming up. But where can people connect with you?
I mean, World Pride. I'm sorry, clubglow.com for all the
Mm-hmm.
shows, and then I'm around, like, Pete Glow DC on Instagram or whatever.
Love it. Okay, and I'll link everything. Pete, I could pick your brain forever. This was so cool. Hopefully, I'll get to
Yeah,
meet you in person at some
for
point.
sure. 100%. If you're coming, yeah, 100%.
Thank you so much. Yeah, and I'll definitely, guys, go show your love support. Check out Echo Stage, Soundcheck, Project Glow, World Pride, everything coming up. It's going to be a very busy May and June. If you guys want to connect with us, we are at Rave Culture Cast on all the platforms. You can check us out on our Facebook group or Discord, and we'll see you in a new episode. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Bye, guys.